All right, welcome to our Super Sherpas weekly check-in. And so we've been meeting as a group, and there's been about 10 of us that have met periodically off and on. Well, actually, we're meeting every Friday, and we were meeting at like 2 p.m. Central. Now this is going to be a weekly show at 10:30 a.m. Central on Fridays, and we're going to keep it really, really simple. Okay. The intention of this show is to bring our questions about Be Connected and what we're doing to the table. Not saying we have to answer all the questions because this is a 30-minute show. We're going to start at 10:30, and I promise we're going to end promptly at 11. The official show will be over. And what we're really trying to accomplish here as we talk about Sherpas. First of all, Sherpas, if you don't know what that term means, it means we don't consider ourselves necessarily experts. We don't know everything there is to know. We don't have any official titles here. All we have done is we've climbed the mountain to a certain degree. I've been here for 4.5 years. Other people on here have been here almost that long. Some have just joined. It doesn't matter. The point is we've learned some things along the journey. And the intention here is for us to get together and talk about questions we have, as well as questions we've heard about Be Connected. Maybe people that we're trying to help get on the site, maybe prospects, maybe other members of our team, maybe just questions that we have. And the thing is, the only dumb question is the one that isn't asked. So we're taking the approach of we're going to be recording these weekly check-ins, and we are going to either be able to hopefully answer some of these questions that come up during the 30 minutes. But that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is to get the questions out there, because then what we will do between this Friday and next Friday is we will take those questions and try to have answers. Do some kind of follow-up. Maybe there's something that has to be done with our tech folks. Maybe there's something that our chief learning officer needs to answer. Maybe it's something that Tanya needs to answer, our CEO, or JR, whomever. The intention is just because we don't have the answer doesn't mean it doesn't exist. But if we don't have the answer might not exist. We may not know. We may have to figure it out, or we may not have it. So if you're a member of the Be Connected community, and I don't care if you just signed up or if you've been on the platform for a long time, I don't care, again, what you want to call yourself. If you're a coach, you're a lead expert, you can be whatever you want to be. You do you. But the place is we're going to ask questions. We're going to put them out there. If we can answer them, great. If we say that's a good question, Zip, and Zip has a lot of good questions, we'll come back and say we'll get back to that. Maybe we'll answer it between now and then. Maybe we'll get some kind of communication in one of the groups, either in the main Be Connected group, whatever it might be. But we want to make sure that, number one, we are communicating the questions and that the answers are coming not only to us, but the Be Connected community in a way that we can improve communications. We can continue to accelerate the growth, because I think everybody here in our Super Sherpas community has a vested interest in ensuring that people get on this platform, people get productive, people are able to use it, and people have their questions answered so they're not stalled in the process of getting on board. Okay. So I've got Christine Dean here. She's an amazing DFW networking diva and also a collaborator extraordinaire. She's excellent in marketing, web development, you name it. And I've got Ricky Jean Wright, who's a singer-songwriter, amazing creative guy, also very frequently my wingman. He talks slow, but he carries a big stick. And I got Zip, who's a master connector, and he's always on the move. So as you can see, he was in the car. And there'll be other people on here. We got Cherian on here. Cherian is actually relatively new to the Be Connected community, but I just got to meet her. And again, everybody that wants to either ask questions or answer questions are here. If you want to just put a question in the chat or anything you want, that's fine. If you are here, we've set this up in meeting form, thanks to Christine, and you can be on screen. You can ask your question. So, Zip.
First question. You mentioned a big stick. Is he still playing golf? And is that big stick a big driver?
Are you asking about Ricky? Yeah. Oh.
Here's the cover.
Let's get to it. So we've got 17 minutes, and as I said, we're going to end promptly at 11 Central, and we're going to get as many questions out there as we can. We will address the questions, but if the answer is a very extended answer because we've only got 30 minutes, we'll say, hey, that's a good question. Let's tee up another time to answer that, or here's a place where you can get the answer. Does that make sense? Ricky Jean.
Okay. Do y'all see superimposed on the top of my screen up here, Be Connected?
No. I see it on the top of my screen because it's mine's in the upper left-hand corner.
No, when I'm looking at the screen, right where my hat is, there's the superimposed symbol for Be Connected and then Be Connected written. I don't know how that got there.
Yeah, that's part of your K to K. See, this is our Be Connected virtual meeting platform. Good question. When I'm looking at my screen and I'm looking at the gallery view, by the way, I see each of you, so don't do anything weird because I can see you and I'll call you out. But on my screen, I see myself in the upper left-hand corner and I see Be Connected up there. It's not on anybody else's screen. What I see in your screen is RGW, Cherry and Angela, Zip, Christine, and so on. Does that make sense? So
Christine, do you see Be Connected on yours? Superimposed?
It's on everybody in your own view. You're in the upper left corner, and it says Be Connected. So that's where you are all times. That's where you're going to look at, but it's not what it looks like to everybody else.
Yeah, right.
I'm talking about my picture, not
it has Be Connected in the upper left corner.
Your picture to us doesn't have Be Connected on it. No, only it's the room that has Be Connected at the top. If you can understand the virtual room, okay. So no, your picture doesn't have Be Connected. In fact,
it must.
My picture shouldn't have Be Connected, even though this is my room, right?
So it must be that only in this format, because when we do it on Wednesday, it doesn't have that.
Actually, it does, but it's probably it's kind of subtle. I mean, for mine, I have a white background, and if your background is busy at all or lighter, it is almost like a watermark. It's right. It's not real obvious.
Well, I was just there.
It's there in my virtual room when I see it. When I look at my virtual,
I brought that up because I thought maybe I was smarter than I thought I was.
But see, Ricky, that is such a good question because there are so many little things like that. That's why I want to do this. I want to advance our level of communication as a community, not just the five of us here, but as a Be Connected community to where we can feel comfortable in just asking questions like, why is this the way it is? Or is this the way it should be? Because I think, especially with new technology, right, we want to assume everybody else knows how it works except for us. And I will tell you 99 times out of 100, there's at least a majority of people that probably have a similar question, but didn't have the courage to ask or didn't want to feel silly for asking. But again, the rules are here. The only dumb question is the one that we walk away with that isn't asked. So Any other questions or any other things that occur to? I'll call on Christine just because she's smiling and being polite, and I know she has a lot of answers, but she also, she's a constant learner, so she always has. If you're a good learner, you're always asking a lot of dumb questions. At least I say dumb just because it's self-deprecating. Christine, any questions that occur to you or that have occurred in this?
I was thinking about what's on the screen, what we see versus what other people see, right? And one of the things we want to be self-aware of is what's going on in our background. And so, Ricky, you got the TV going in the background there. And since it's not necessarily something that you're advertising, it's not like it's pushing your business. It's not, right? So you want to, sometimes we have things going on in the background that we may not be aware of. Right. So it's always a good idea to, kind of minimize that. I've had my honey walk by when he shouldn't have and wasn't dressed quite the way I would appreciate it on a camera before. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, there you go. Thank goodness we weren't broadcasting at the time. But, you got to be aware and cognizant of what's going on. And some things you don't have control of, other people, right? So if you can kind of get the back wall solid so you don't have to worry about people walking behind you, or a TV, you don't know all of a sudden when Animal Planet's going to come on and the animals are going to be killing each other. I mean, you don't want that going on in the background during your meetings, right? And sometimes things will switch and you don't even realize it, right? So being cognizant of what's going on in your screen, right? Whatever that is really important when we use these rooms.
Yep. And I think that is an important, because what Christine says is brilliant, because there are various opinions of what you should have in your background and ways to do it. We went through a phase, and this has been talked about before, of virtual backgrounds. And the people that when Zoom was around, people said, I want to mask my background because it was all COVID and our offices were a mess and nobody wanted to know what was really there. The interesting thing is now, and Christine, you can feel free, or anybody else can correct me if you think the thinking is different than what I'm going to say. But now people go, if you don't have your real background there's a question of authenticity, or how, it's kind of now a crutch or a patch that a lot of people look down on, if you will. I don't mean it in a negative. I'm just saying we assume that, okay, maybe they're just playing at this. They're not serious about this. Sharon, you asked the question, how can I use virtual backgrounds in my meeting room? Anybody want to answer that quick question? The question I was just asking is, do you really want to use virtual backgrounds? And again, it's kind of like people ask questions that they think they're supposed to ask, or you're used to another virtual meeting platform, or you've been around doing virtual meetings since since Zoom came into existence, and we had Meetin, and now we have others. And the virtual meeting or virtual background was kind of a important thing. You can add virtual backgrounds, but that you go into under your video settings and virtual background.
So on the very bottom of the screen, you're going to see there's a thing that looks like a microphone, and right next to that is a thing that looks like the video. And there's a little arrow pointing up. When you click on that, you'll see a little pop-up come up, and there's Mirror My Video, and then there's virtual backgrounds. So you can choose a virtual background that you want. You're shaking your head no. Is that not popping up on your?
Are you looking at you click on the upper chevron?
I have all my icons on the bottom of my screen, and when I go in, I've had this problem since I started. It says more action, and I click on that, and from what I understand, there should be an option where it gives
you're clicking in the wrong spot. Don't click on more action. Don't click on more action. Go to the one that looks like a video camera, and there's a little tiny arrow pointing up. Click on that arrow.
Up chevron. So you look at that, and that says video settings when you click on it. And it'll say virtual backgrounds or Mirror My Video.
No, I don't have that. I don't have that option.
What kind of phone do you hit? What are you on? An iPad or a?
I'm on my MacBook Air laptop.
Okay. Well, I'm
Google
in
Assistant.
iOS too, so I'm MacBook Pro. Well, here's the thing: we're not going to answer.
Yeah, it's okay.
We want to get the question out there, but it sounds that if you're having those kind of issues,
Yeah.
there are plenty of, there's
Support.
let me do an advertisement for our lead experts, is that they do regular open hours to ask questions about how do I do this or do that. That's not what we're going to use this 30-minute window for, but we're going to get them out there, and I'm going to say, go to here and do that.
Understood. No problem.
But that's a good question. That's perfect. That's a great question. Thank you, Cherian. I appreciate you asking the question. Anybody, I think everybody here is affiliates, so we're all talking to people about Be Connected, I would hope, on some kind of frequency or putting stuff out there. Had a great session yesterday, and I think there'll be a recording up, at least in the affiliate training group, if you're in that. If you're not, let me know. We can probably get you into it if you're an affiliate. Is where David Dubbs did a thing yesterday about kind of how he does things and how he talks to people. And I can't go through all that, but it was about an hour. And if you've ever been in a David Dubbs meeting, you can hardly keep up. So I'm hoping there's a recording there, because I made notes, but there was a lot of things I did. So I'd encourage you to do that if you're talking to people. Is there a question that anybody has? We've got 6 minutes. I'm being very cognizant of the clock. That when you're talking to people about Be Connected, about potentially getting on or maybe upgrading or just being that you run into. Ricky, you raised your hand.
I wanted y'all's opinion. Is this background okay?
Yeah. I mean, it's not that exciting.
If I slide that way, you see multiple things.
Right.
If I slide this way, it's kind of.
It's definitely, to Christine's point in the beginning, it's definitely less distracting.
Okay.
It's static. There's nothing there. Could you, I'm sure if you wanted a designer to design your background or whatever, we could do better. But I think it's a better option for most cases, because the thing you don't want in your background is people wondering what the heck is going on there, or trying to figure it out and they're not hearing what you're saying.
Well, and I'll be honest, I've had video people that are, that's what they do. And so they literally will intentionally put something that moves behind them. And I'm like, I can't watch your thing moving like that over and over again for a 30-minute meeting. You're making me dizzy.
Well, no, you're like, I have ADD. So, I mean,
you get distracted, right? It literally makes me nauseous.
I literally have ADD. So if you've got something that raises a question, or if you're in your car or you're on your phone, what doesn't matter. My brain goes, what's he doing? Why is he doing it? What's she doing? Why is that there? And until as they say, back when you did presentation, remember the clear the visual concept, where you clear your slide before you start talking, because otherwise people are reading the slide. You clear the visual. It's hard to do that if your background's moving around. So to Christine's excellent point, the simpler, the better. So Ricky, yes, I think that's an enhancement. Any other questions about people? We've got 3 minutes now. Hey, I'm talking to somebody about Be Connected, and they have this question, and I'm not sure I know how to answer it. Anybody? I know that's one of the questions I get quite frequently is about Be Connected being, I didn't realize it was more than just this meeting room, but part of it is because I do a weekly Warrior Networking virtual hybrid meeting here. So a large percentage of the people that I bring have brought to the platform or whatever, they're still only familiar with the room, if you will. The fact that, you know, if you look now, we're in a live event here, and you have this home, and you have the meetings and webinars, but then you have live shows, and then you have groups, and then you have courses. And people say, what's courses? And you say, I don't have a course. Well, maybe you should. That's the other thing. I get people say, well, premium, you know, Ricky brought it up last week when we weren't doing it as a live show. And it's a great question. Is what is premium content? What is a course? What does that look like? And I think that's a question that, sharing a new sign up should immediately, that's a great question. A new sign up or somebody you register, you should strongly encourage them, if it's somebody you're actually bringing to the table, is to get on a Be Connected orientation. Somebody's doing it. I'm not doing them right now, but I may do one in my ward networking group, my point of view. But I'll probably use the same slides, but they go through all of the bits of things and what to do to get started. The most important thing I would answer to that is do that and get them on looking at the tutorials on creating their profile. I think that's the biggest gap I see in people getting started. They don't get their profile built out, and then people have trouble finding them. Ricky, go ahead.
One of the things that,
and it's 1 minute. So
okay. One of the things that I have come to sort of let myself go and realize is that not everybody is going to be interested in Be Connected. Not everybody is actually technically, even though we say it's easy, there's some people that are so technically, messed up, challenged, that this is not going to be for them. An example is, there's a lot of apps on phones. I know people that just cannot download an app on their phone. They can't operate an app on their phone. And so they're not a good candidate, a good merchant, a good customer for me in the credit card processing world. So I think we need to let ourselves just let it go. There's some people that, they can't do easy things. So just go, just let it go.
Well, that's a great question and a great response. And I think that, I know this will never seem like long enough, but we've thrown a few questions out there, and at least we've primed the pump. We'll be doing this every Friday from 10:30 to 11 Central Time. And so hopefully people that join us will come, and if they didn't get their questions answered in the last week, that they'll come next week and with the question, or we'll bring it up, and we'll continue to do this. Anything that comes up in this session, I'm feeding to our corporate folks, the people that are trying to make sure, because we should have FAQs. We should have a lot of things that I'm promoting, if you will. And I want to make sure they say, well, what questions do you have? Well, here's where we're going to turf up quite a few of those questions. So Christine, thank you for being here. Cherian, thank you for being here. It's awesome to have you here. I hope you come back. If you come back, send me a headshot. I'll add you to the graphic. I'm going to start adding.
Oh, yeah, nice picture.
Yeah, I got your picture on there. Anybody that's been part of the Sherpas group, it's not exclusive in any way. I really want everybody to participate, both with the questions and the answers. If you don't like your picture, I won't put it up there. But anyway, all right. Appreciate everybody being here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a good weekend.
I'm going to stop the recording now for those that are doing the play-by-play.